What's up, YouTube? How are you? Welcome to the BookTube channel of LD Valencia, the indie author slash teacher slash podcaster that is trying to be a little bit better about using their YouTube channel that they've had for probably a year or so now, and only is now kind of getting into posting regularly on it. So, what I want to talk today about is kind of my former superhero series for those that want to know more about it, and just kind of share a little bit of what this series really is. So, the idea for the book series came about when I was teaching my kids. They were going to be doing a creative writing unit, and they were going to be able to write whatever short story they wanted. I was really trying to push them to find something that they really love. Write about what you like. If you're into sports, write about sports. If you're into ponies, write about ponies. If you're into magic and cool things like fantasy, do that, right? So I told them, Mr. V, that's kind of what my kids call me. I love superheroes and I love kind of like spy thrillers and spy novels. So I told them, I'm going to write something kind of like that. So, as a lot of teachers do, we kind of model for them what to do. We call this kind of the gradual release of responsibility. We call it scaffolding. You kind of show them how to do it. You model for them the techniques, how to handle the process, and give them some tips and tricks. And eventually they do it on their own over the course of many lessons sometimes. So I wrote this short story. I typed it up like they were going to do. I did an illustration myself. I hand drew a couple of kind of comic book style pictures for them and stapled together with two pieces of construction paper, and that was it. It was nothing over the top and amazing. But I read it to my kids because we were going to do kind of an author circle thing where they were going to get to read their own copies. And I did that. I read it for them, and they were like, Mr. V, this is amazing. You should get this published. This is so cool. And at first I just took it as, a kid's cute little compliment, right? And I just kind of went on with my day. But after a while, I was like, this would be really cool to actually do. This would be something that I could actually use in my classroom to maybe inspire kids to read more, to write more. And as a reading teacher, those are two things that we are all hoping for, right? So I started to kind of pursue it. I started writing more. I would take some time on the weekends or after classes. I was in grad school at the time, so when I was off break and stuff like that, I would kind of tinker at it here and there. I ended up rewriting it probably 3 or 4 times. I started off in past tense, but for some reason I thought present tense would be better, so I wrote it in present tense and kind of rewrote the whole thing. I then realized that was stupid. I don't know why I thought that was going to be good, and so I went back to past tense. I did a lot of work with the pacing because I wanted the book to be really tight. And for a new writer, it was really tricky to kind of get the pacing down because I had characters moving in different directions and I had to make it more coherent. And I really wanted it, like I said, to be kind of streamlined. As a reading teacher, I have a lot of kids that are reluctant readers, kids that don't want to read, kids that have gotten into their upper elementary grades and have never really had to read a book. And so my goal as someone who's so passionate about reading and writing now, I was like, I want this to be something that is quickly and easily read and won't turn off a new reader by something that's really, really long. So I wanted it to be pretty trim. And so I pursued this thing. I actually first got it published with a vanity press, and I'll make a whole nother video on that, on why that was a bad idea. But I went through a vanity press. I thought I was getting a good deal. I thought, they were going to be helpful. I thought having someone kind of walk me through the process would be really helpful. I didn't really have that experience, and I'll share a little more about that in either a later video or maybe at the end of this video. But I went through the process. I paid them a lot of money and learned that I gave them way too much money probably for what they gave me. They produced the copy. They gave me the final product. And in all honesty, I was a little let down because the thing that they gave me was very, very poor quality in my opinion. The cover looked like it was done by an unpaid intern. The editing was very poor. When I was going through the editing process with them, they edited it, gave it back to me, and said, read it over it. Here's a form to fill out if there's an edit. Write what the mistake is, write what page it is on, and send it back to us. So I went through and did that, and I found over 100 errors still in the book. Now I know I've now written 10 books and had them all edited. There are going to be a lot of mistakes in a book, but 100 in a professionally edited book is a lot. You might find 3, 4, 5 errors, small things here or there in a professionally edited book. And I've done that. I've seen professionally edited books, by the big five that have, a spelling error here or the miswording here, things like that, right? That happens even in books that have been around for a long time. But 100 errors tells me either you weren't putting much time into this, much energy into this, or you were maybe hoping I wouldn't notice. I don't know. I don't want to speak on to the intention of this company, but I was not happy with the process that they kind of went through, and the lack of quality that was put into my book. So the book is produced. It comes out. We've hopefully caught all those errors, and I through the time that I wrote this book, I actually found myself kind of catching the writing bug. I found myself falling in love with the writing process, coming with stories, and creating new characters, new worlds, new places, new villains, even. And so I decided, I'm going to keep doing this. So book one became book two, became book three. Now, 15 years later, after the series is finished, 10 books have come out. The series is complete, and now I'm working on a new series. And so the series follows these four kids that go into kind of a super powered college to learn how to use their superpowers. They find themselves in an investigation that's going on campus that is kind of covert. They find themselves going through some of the strange things that are happening on campus and find themselves on the forefront of a kind of takedown, a sting, essentially. And they are kind of given the choice, you can't tell anybody about this, but we'll let you become interns at this secret agency. So they go on to become superhero secret agents, essentially. So the series follows these same four kids from the first book. They go on kind of Mission Impossible style missions, but they use their superpowers. They are more covert than the Avengers or the superheroes in your more traditional superhero movie and superhero comics, right? It's a little bit like Captain America Winter Soldier, which I loved, one of my favorite superhero movies, where you have like the superhero element, but you also have this like covert stuff going on. You have these mission inside missions, you have double agents, you have alliances that are kind of tested and pushed and eventually maybe betrayed, right? So there's a lot of that in the series. And like I said, there are 10 in all. The series is complete. The final book, The Final Fallout, is just that, is the fallout of everything, and it kind of sees everything kind of completed and finished in the series. So if you are into My Hero Academia, if you like secret agents and spies and stuff like that, I hope you'll check it out. It's available on Amazon. It's available on Kindle Unlimited if you're a Kindle fan. And as of right now, January 2025, the series, the audio version is not completed, but it is in the works. So maybe by the time you see this, it'll be out. So check it out, and I hope you will enjoy.